Hi guys, welcome back to another IBRACORP video. Thanks for tuning in with me today. I'm so glad to have you here. It's been a busy week. We've had several different ideas thrown out there for this week's video, and it was originally going to be Notifier, but unfortunately due to time constraints I've shifted gears a little bit. One of our more requested videos of late has been Prowlarr. Now I put it off to the side for a little bit here because I was obviously trying to invest time into a bunch of other things that we helped cover, including our Argo tunnel video for example. But I think today's the day that we're finally going to give this one a run. It's by the same developer as Notifier, so at the same time I get to give a little bit of thanks to the same developer here. I'm going to preface this with the fact that this is in beta, so please understand that by the time this video gets out there, maybe a few weeks down the track, maybe a few months down the track, the application would have surely had a lot of updates before it becomes a public release in its full fleshed out version. But even in its beta stage, this is a very amazing looking product. So you might be asking yourself, what is it? So I'm here on the GitHub page for Prowlarr, and I'll just scroll up a little bit so you can have a look. So we're on the Prowlarr/Prowlarr GitHub page. We've got all of our contributors here, so big props to the developer Nitsua, who's been an amazing contributor with us on the Discord channel. If you haven't joined our Discord, check out the link down below. There's plenty of activity happening in there lately and we'd love to have you there. So let's have a look at the description here. So Prowlarr is a indexer manager / proxy built on the popular Arr or r.net/reactjs base stack. Alright, that's a whole bunch of gibberish. If you're not someone that's in the scene, you may not understand what that means. But in summary, the interface that you use for Sonarr and Radarr is what this uses here. So they've basically matched the same sort of setup and it looks really familiar to you. And it integrates seamlessly with Sonarr and Radarr as well as the other PVR apps, so Lidarr for example. It supports both Torrent trackers and Usenet indexes. So what does that mean for you? Well, right now you may be set up like I am and you might have Jackett for your Torrent indexes, and then in Sonarr and Radarr you've set up individual indexes that read from Jackett. And then you may also have something like NZBHydra for your Usenet indexes, which then you integrate with your Sonarr and Radarr. What this is offering is a single solution for all of that and more. So have a look at the major features here, for example. Usenet support for any NewsNab compatible indexer. Torrent support for 400 plus trackers and more coming soon. It synchronizes to your Sonarr, Radarr, Readarr and Lidarr, so no manual config of the other applications are required. You get an indexer history and stats, which look really nice. Manual searching of the trackers and indexes at a category level. Support for pushing releases directly to your download clients from Prowlarr. So I did test it out, so you can, for example, set everything up in Prowlarr, search in there, send it to your download app, away you go. You don't even have to look at Sonarr and Radarr if you don't want to. And indexer health and status notifications. Now, that's a lot of offering in one application. Alright, as it says here, we do it all. So let me tell you guys, I'm really excited to show you this application. Please think about supporting the developer, become a backer, help support them, become a sponsor, a mega sponsor, and all the other things that might be involved as well. Help tools like this come to the surface because the amount of people that contribute to an application like this, they deserve recognition. So by all means, please jump in, have a look, at least give it a try, see if it's for you. And if it is, help the developer out, buy them a coffee, buy them a beer, buy the team a beer. They're all working really hard on stuff like this, so I'm more than happy to try and get this sort of stuff out there. And like I said, we've been working together in the Discord, so it's been a really nice collaborative effort in the community, which is just awesome to see. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, let's get stuck into it. Alright guys, so in the event that you wanted to read the documentation, I will link it in the description of course, as I always do. But I'll show it here really quickly, so wikijs.server.com/en/Prowlarr. And that'll give you the official documentation, which is being constantly updated by the developing team. And that way you can fully understand what's happening and what everything does. Things I may or may not cover in the video. I always like to direct people to the official documentation. Now I've had a read through it and I've tested it myself, so I have an understanding of how it all works already. So if I'm too quick for you, slow me down, pause the video, take your time. That's the beauty of having YouTube videos, and then you've got the written instructions here as well. In terms of the instructions I'm going to show today in our video, I'm going to write my own instructions here that you can follow along with the video. So this is more of like a transcript of what we're doing in the video, and it's going to be available at github.com/IBRACORP/prowlerr. Okay, separate to the official docs, which are very obviously generic for everybody. This is going to be going along with my own video. So this will be complete by the time we get this out there. All right, guys, so we're in Unraid now. And one of the things I'm going to really enjoy about this video is that I haven't been able to delve into it too much, which means, look, I have a good understanding, but there's things I'm going to learn along the way. And like I said, it's still in beta, so there's going to be a lot of things that are going to keep developing. So I really want to get this out there so people can at least give it a go and provide their feedback for the developers and allow them to expand it even more. With something that's incorporating so much, feedback is really, really important. So I'm going to hope that if I get this out there, you guys can provide that feedback. So make sure you send that back to them, join their Discord, join our Discord. So as usual, the first thing we're going to do is head over to our App Store. Now, if you're wondering why my Unraid looks like this, check out our last video. We covered that with Docker folders. I'll head over to the App Store, and again, I'm on my live server, guys, and the reason why I'm on the live server for this video is because it is on the assumption that you already have your Sonarr, Radarr, Jackett, all that sort of stuff set up already. We're going to be looking from someone's perspective who wants to integrate this into their setup and replace some of those tools. Obviously, in the App Store, we're going to look up Prowlarr. And at the moment, as it stands on the App Store, we have two options. So we have the Linux servers repository team there, and we have Hot.io's repository as well. I'm going to go with Hot.io's repository today. So we're going to go ahead and click to install. We'll click default. So Hot.io, he gets all these sort of images and gets them prepared on his own. So again, if you feel like supporting him, please do that as well. Under network type, we're going to switch that to our custom Docker networks because we want to be able to use their container names and not worry about IP addresses. Now, I am asked that often about how to create a Docker network that I might just start doing it a little bit more often just to help you guys learn how to do that. So really quickly, we click the terminal here up in the top right, Docker network create, followed by the name of the network that you want to give it. We can call it Unraid net, for example. Now, I'm not going to do that. I already have plenty here on my server, so I don't really need any more. So once you do that and you hit enter, you'll get a whole big long number. That basically is the identifier. You can then close the window. You don't have to do anything in there, and then refresh your page. So if you just hit F5, you will then see your Docker network come up in the list. So we've got on the custom network. As you can see, there's not much else we need to set up. We're happy with this app data location, which is our default, and our port, which is 9696. So for me, that's free, and I have plenty of containers, so it should be free for you, but if it's not, please remember to change it to something that is. If you're not sure whether it's free, the beauty of Unraid here is if we click Docker allocations, here's the giant list of containers that I've got and what ports they're using. Now, the easiest way to manage this is just type Control F on your keyboard and type the port, so 9696. And if I scroll through the page, you can see it doesn't highlight anything down here, so that tells me that port's free. So we're happy with that. Pretty easy container to get started. So we'll go ahead and click apply. Once that's finished, click done, and then head over to our Docker tab. And here it is. So I haven't set it into a Docker folder just yet, so I might even just do that actually, or we'll just quickly do that. I'll go into media automation, edit the folder, come down, I can see Prowlarr there, we'll highlight that and click submit, and now we've got it in our folder. So let's left click that and go to the web UI. Now we're in the web UI. Now you will understand why I said it looks familiar, because it looks exactly like Radarr and Sonarr. It's not an overbearing interface, it looks nice and clean. You already sort of know your way around if you're using Radarr and Sonarr. So that's a huge benefit there already. Now you'll notice there's not that much there in the left sidebar. The reason is because there's not much you need to do. It is a one-stop shop and it manages a lot. So I'll show you how it works. The first option you see is indexes. As the name suggests, this is where you add your indexes. So previously you had to add your torrent indexes into, for example, Jackett. And for your NZB indexes, you would use something like NZBHydra. This interface will allow you to add both. Now I'll show you how easy that is. We'll go add new indexer. And just note here, Prowlarr supports any indexer that uses the Usenet standard, as well as other indexes listed below. I will add a disclaimer here at this point that what I am showing you is the ability for you to download Linux ISOs and other free and open source things from either torrent or Usenet applications. It is not for the purpose of pirating. If you choose to do that, that is at your own risk and is not what the purpose of this video is. I'm only here to show you the application and what the application can do. So with that, let's have a look through this list. So we've got Torrent here, which is under the protocol type. Scroll down, we've also got NZB. Again, it's using the same formatting, same colors, you know, everything that Radarr and Sonarr have. So again, it's very familiar to understand how to read it. If I just scroll up to the top here, we're going to add a torrent indexer. We're going to go with 1337X. Obviously, we want it enabled, so we're going to leave it as enabled. The app profile, we haven't set up any sort of profiles yet, so we're happy to just leave it as standard. But they are used to control the RSS, automatic search, and interactive search settings on application sync. The download link, if you want it to be via magnet or itorrents.org, how you want the results to be sorted. So you can sort it by seeders, size, or created. We're going to go by created. Actually, I might switch that to seeders. Order requested from the site. So you have ascending and descending. So we've picked seeders. Do you want the seeders to go from top to bottom or bottom to top? And the indexer priority. So similar to Sonarr and Radarr, you can set the priority, 1 being the highest and 50 being the lowest. Default is 25, which is smack bang in the middle. We're going to leave it as 25. That's fine. We don't need to change that. And you can go ahead and click test and we get a green tick. Go ahead and click save. Congratulations, you just added an indexer. Now, how easy was that? All right, now I could think of probably 10, 15 examples of times I've had to set up an indexer in something like Jackett, and it's just done my absolute head in trying to get it to work. We've just got it done in about 2 clicks, I reckon. For those using NZB, we're just going to head and click add index, and we're going to add an NZB one. So we'll click Drunken Slug here, just to show you what sort of stuff comes up in Drunken Slug. So in Drunken Slug, we've got the redirect incoming download requests for indexer instead of proxying using Prowler. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure on what the redirect means to me, but looking at the official documentation, it says check the box if a redirect is necessary. There are only a couple of indexes where this is required to avoid being banned. So I guess in your scenario, just make sure that the index that you're putting in, whether it requires this redirect or not. I'm going to have to leave that up to you because I'm not too sure on it, and I can't really say one way or the other. So you have to forgive me there. My knowledge isn't that great on that particular one there. The app profile. So again, we're going to leave it as standard. We have the URL, which is thankfully filled out for us. We don't even have to do anything there. Where you would add your API key, additional parameters, expiration date if you have a VIP membership. So what I'll do, guys, is I'll add mine in here after this screen is shown to you, and that way we can just close it and move on. So there we go, 2 of those things covered in the one application already. If we go down to stats there on the left, here's where you're going to see your stats. Now obviously there's no stats yet, and the reason is we haven't hooked up to our apps. If I go to search, you can actually search in here. So let's say you don't want to use Sonarr and Radarr to do that. For some reason you just wanted to search manually. It gives you the option in here to do that. So in the bottom, we've got our query, our indexes, and our categories. So now that we've performed the search, let's go back to the indexes here and go to stats. There you go. Have a look at the stats here. Gives you a nice interface and a nice view of how this all looks. So you can see which indexer we're hitting, how much requests we're making to the indexer, and you can measure how much those requests are taking up. So that's the search function, and that's if you want to use it inside of Prowlarr. Usually most people, obviously you're going through something like Sonarr and Radarr. On top of that, you might have Overseer or Ombi doing your requests. So that all filters down and goes through here and then back into those apps. In history, you can see the results, anything that's been searched, all those sort of details. You can then inspect those details as well. So if we go click on this magnifying glass, for example, we'll research it. If I hit the eye, it'll give us a little bit more information on what's happened there. So now we get into the settings. Let's go into settings and we'll go to apps. Here's where we configure Sonarr and Radarr. So the beauty of this is you do it in Prowlarr and you don't have to touch anything else. So let's go to applications and we're going to add Radarr. In Radarr, we have the following settings. So we can set the name. Obviously, we're just going to leave it as Radarr, but maybe you've got 3 different Radarrs running for whatever reason. You can name it there. Sync level. I will add that with the sync level, after reviewing it, it looks like that this setting basically says once you add it or remove it, that's the only time the changes are pushed across to the app. So in our case, Radarr. So if you want all changes to constantly be in sync, then you would change it to full sync, or you could disable it completely. So I'm going to go with full sync and leave it at that. Any tags, if you have any matching tags that you want to apply to indexes, and the Prowlarr server. So for us, this is the beauty of using our custom Docker network, okay, that we set up earlier. So instead of using localhost or an IP address, we can just type in the name of the container. Now for me, the name of the container is just Prowlarr, just like that, okay? Depending what the name of your container is, it might be different. That's the name of mine. For my Radarr server, for example, it's actually binhex-Radarr, so that's what I'll call it. And then it wants our API key. So I'm gonna put the API key in here, and then we can test it. Once you've got the API key in there, just go ahead and click test. And there we go, we've got our green tick. Go ahead and click save. Done. You've just integrated with Radarr. Done. You don't have to do anything on the Radarr end. That's pretty much complete. And the same goes for Sonarr. So you could go ahead and set that up. I'm not going to do it in this video. It's basically exactly the same thing. The next thing is download clients. Now at this point, you've pretty much set it up, right? If you were to remove all your indexes from Radarr and Sonarr, for example, and you had it set up in here, those requests will actually hit here and you don't have to do anything else. If you wanted to be able to search for something in Prowlarr and then send it to a download client, then you would set up a download client here. If you are not planning to download stuff directly from Prowlarr, there's no need to set it up. If it's set up in your Sonarr and Radarr, those requests from Prowlarr are sent back to them, and then Sonarr and Radarr handle them with your download clients that you've set up there. So I'm going to leave that as optional. That's up to you guys if you want to set that up, but let's go ahead and click plus just to show you what options you've got. Pretty much the same thing as Sonarr and Radarr here. You've got your Usenet download clients and you've got your Torrent download clients, okay? Each one has their own settings. You would need to configure that the way you like. And to be quite honest, if you've already got these clients set up in Sonarr and Radarr, just copy their settings across. It's exactly the same. You've then got connections. So if you go to click plus here, this is connections for your notifications. So one of our next videos is going to be Notifier, which is where you would select it here so that you can manage all the notifications from Prowlarr for you. But you've also got a bunch of other options here if you like as well. Discord is built in as well, which is nice. You've got email, you've got Twitter, all sorts of stuff here that you can integrate, which is really, really cool. You then have tags. So there's no tags that have been added. Then you go into general and you've got your usual sort of settings here that you'll see in Sonarr and Radarr. So if you are using, for example, proxying, you can select your proxy here and set that all up. Your API key, I'll just refresh this after this video. You've then got UI, time formats, color changes, and language. So head over to system and then you've got a bunch of other stuff here that you can help to manage your system settings as well. Looks pretty much exactly the same as Sonarr and Radarr. So you don't have to worry too much about that. So guys, that's pretty much Prowlarr. I hope you enjoyed that. I think it's an amazing application. It's still in beta, but you know what? If this is how good it is already, it can only really get better from here. Again, please look up the developer, check it out on GitHub, support them any way you can. This is the sort of stuff that we want to see more of in the community, and they've basically listened to the community by doing things like this. So please support them where you can. Hot IO's in there too. Maybe support us too if you're interested. You can sign up on our website or just donate to us via PayPal, all in the description below. Most importantly, would love to have you in our Discord, so if you're interested, please jump over into our Discord. We would absolutely love to have you. And we can't wait to see you in the next IBRACORP video.